WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the morning show, Candace Summers, is with the McLean County Museum of History. Good morning, Candace. How are you today? Sorry about that, Candace. I couldn't hear you there. Are you with me?
Oh, yep, I'm here.
Very good.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That was user error on my part. Not uncommon to this program, but no, we appreciate you making time for us as always, Candace. And we usher in 2024, Candace, with just a plethora of things to talk about. You're just going to be busy here. It sounds like for the next several weeks. What do you have going on? What's keeping you busy right now?
Yeah, February, despite it, being a cold time of year, we got a lot going on here at the museum, and we are kicking it off on Friday, which we're participating in the Downtown Bloomington's first Friday, like we always do, for the annual Tour de Chocolate. So if you're a chocolate lover or just want to get your chocolate fix, come on downtown and just go eat all the chocolate everywhere.
That sounds like an easy demand to follow, Candace.
Yeah, I don't feel too many people would have a problem going, come down for free chocolate. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
And if you stop by the museum on Friday between 5 and 8 or until supplies run out, because we usually get a ton of people, especially with this, halfway decent weather that's coming up with Friday. You can sample chocolate-covered beer nuts and also wonderful candies from RGW Candy Company in Atlanta, Illinois. And I got to say, if you're a fan of sweet and salty, chocolate-covered beer nuts are the way to go. If you've never had them, I highly recommend them.
I've had beer nuts, love the beer nuts, but I've not had the chocolate-covered ones before, so.
I highly recommend, I'm not a huge chocolate person, but if I want a little something, I get my sweet salty fix with those. And so you can come to the museum, grab a little thing of chocolate-covered beer nuts or RGW candy. And you can also tour all of our exhibits because we will have all the exhibits open. You can learn a little bit about local candy making in our Working for a Living exhibit that has a small display about Bikes Candy Company, which was here in Bloomington for a very long time. And I'm sure a lot of people in the listening area will remember Bikes Candy.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So a lot of good things coming up. You said the third Friday. Am I remembering that right?
No, this Friday, the first
Friday. I'm
February
sorry.
2nd. That's okay. From 5 to 8. The museum's participating and a ton of other downtown businesses. If you go to the downtown Bloomington website, they have a map. I kind of call it the chocolate map, where you can see what businesses are participating and also what kind of chocolate they're offering too. So there's something for everybody at the first Friday.
All right, very good. Where can folks learn more about that, Candace? Is there an event page or a website to just kind of get a list of all the things going on?
Yeah, if you go to our website, makehistory.org, or you can go to our Facebook page, and you can see all the upcoming events like Tour de Chocolate to learn more details.
Very good. So check that out. Again, Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History, our guest on the phone for today. What else is coming up, Candace?
So we have a series called Lunch and Learn where we do short programs with different speakers every month. You grab your lunch and come down to the museum and learn about a different topic. And this month, we're going to be featuring 2 speakers who are going to talk about game development. So all you gamers out there, you want to head down to the museum on February 8th. That's next Thursday at 12:10, where we're going to have Ben Rossett, who is a local game designer, and the owner of Red Raccoons Games, which is downtown Bloomington, Jamie Matthey. And they're going to talk all about the board game industry, development of games. It's going to be a pretty cool program.
So check that out. That should be very interesting because that is a sector of that's always been popular, but the explosion of the gaming, not only development, but just the opportunities for like competitive gaming and like professional gaming, like those have just exploded in the last several years.
Yeah, we're kind of in a board game renaissance right now. And yeah, I know a friend of one of my knitters that I knit with, her son is a game designer, and he's always like posting about different like startup kickstart games and things like that. And you know, I follow Red Raccoon downtown because they are one of the largest board game stores in the state of Illinois.
Oh, wow.
And they're always talking about like Dungeons and Dragons meetups, and they had a puzzle tournament putting puzzles together last weekend. So I mean, and they always have people just going in and out of their doors. So really and truly, like, board games are really, you know, a hot thing right now. And if you come to this program, you can learn a little bit about the industry and also how people develop games too.
Yeah, it's funny to me, like not just board games. There's like those deck building games. Those are very isn't Dungeons and Dragons, isn't that a deck building game if I'm not mistaken? I could be very wrong. I've never played it, I guess. So
I haven't played it either. I know it's a board game with the dice, and there's cards, and I think it's like a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I used to try to get into those role-playing games, which is D&D, and it wasn't something that clicked with me. Like, I love a good board game, don't get me wrong. But I just never, like, my brain wasn't wired for it. But my husband and his friends, they were D&D fanatics when they were in high school, like had their own character names, and it's super cool. Like, it's really exciting to watch people build these stories for these role-playing games. It's truly cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of geeking out here.
Now, again, the when and where on that event, Candace?
That will be Thursday, February 8th at 12:10 p.m. Yep. Sorry, I was looking at January's calendar. Yeah, Thursday, February 8th at 12:10 p.m. here at the museum in our courtroom, or you can catch it live streamed on the museum's YouTube channel.
All right, very good. So be a part of that. That should be very interesting. Anything else on that event, Candace, we didn't touch on?
We just hope that you'll come down and grab a lunch and come learn about board games.
Candace Summers, McLean County Museum of History, our guest on the phone here for this morning. Candace, what else is kind of coming up here?
So on February 17th, we will be hosting our first knit-in of 2024 at Normal Public Library, where any knitter or crocheter is welcome to come and knit for a bit and work on the project that we're working on for a local charity group, or you can bring a project of your own. And we started this event, I think it's been 12 years ago now, where a group of people, we just came together and we started knitting and crocheting scarves for veterans. That was our very first knitting charity. And we started looking at like other projects and other needs in the community, like hats and scarves for kids back to school, baby blankets for Project Linus. When the Washington tornado hit, we banded together and sent boxes and boxes of knitted scarves and hats and all kinds of things for the people impacted by the tornado over there. And this month, we're going to be working on making scarves for the Red Scarf Project, which is sponsored by a group called Foster Care to Success, where knitters and crocheters across the country knit and crochet red scarves that go into a care package for young adults who are in foster care. And they get them in the mail, like if they're off at college or they're away from their family, just something to let them know that there are people out there thinking of them and that they care.
Very good. So, again, the when and where on that one?
Saturday, February 17th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Normal Public Library.
Yeah, that's and just you talked about your knitting group, Candace. I mean, that's just something. That's another one that's become popular is those knitting groups and doing things like that for a lot of those groups. I'm not very familiar with. I've heard their names before, kind of know what they do. So a great effort there for sure.
Oh yeah, I started knitting in 2006, and I started knitting because I started working here at the museum, and we had these little knitting kits that we were going to use for a Girl Scout program,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, if I'm going to try and show these girls how to knit, I should probably learn myself. And so I bought a book and I bought some needles and some yarn, and I just started doing it, and I've been hooked, pun intended, ever since. I mean, it's so fun and it's so relaxing, and for me, it's kind of like a fidget. Like, I can just do mindless knitting, like it's a pattern I just have in my head, and it's so easy that I don't even have to look at it. And then, poof, I've just made a dishcloth while I'm sitting there talking to somebody, or, if I'm like listening to like a webinar or something, I can just sit there and knit, and it kind of helps me focus better. And I mean, it's a great way to make things to help people in need. We make pet blankets that we take to shelters locally, so that the pets have something to go to their new home with. Like I said, we've made tons of hats and scarves for local groups who are in need, and it's a really great, easy, low-cost way that people who have a passion for crafting can also help other people too.
Very good, very good. I know I already said this, but again, Candace, when and where on that one is?
That is Saturday, February 17th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Normal Public Library.
I don't know where the time went. I have to take us to break, Candace, already. How do folks learn more about all things McLean County Museum?
You go to our website, www.mchistory.org, or our Facebook page. We're also on Instagram as well.
Candace Summers, McLean County Museum of History, my guest on the phone. More to come with Candace on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Bureau YouTube channel.
Well, let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn slightly lower, beans lower, Chicago wheat lower. March corn 4.47 1/4, down half a penny. May corn down a penny, 4.57 3/4. December new crop 4.79 1/2, down 3/4. March beans 12.14, down 4 3/4. May beans down 4, 12.23 3/4. November new crop 11.92 1/2, down 4 3/4. March Chicago wheat 5.96 3/4, down 8 3/4. May wheat down 9, 6.06 1/2. July wheat 6.10 3/4, down 9 1/2. March bean meal 3.6230, down 70 cents. March bean oil 45.88, down 12 cents. Livestock market at this hour. February live cattle 177.35, down 67 cents. March feeders 240.55, that's down 77 cents. And February lean hogs $76 even, up 15 cents. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
We are celebrating winter here at Baum Chevrolet Buick. This is Scott Baum in Clinton and Farmer City. Start the new year off with a new Chevy Silverado. We have the right Silverado to get your hauling and towing jobs done, like our 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s in gas or diesel with several trim levels, custom, LT, LTZ, or even high country. Celebrate winter today. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
By shopping at Love It Once More thrift store in Clinton, you help us help others. But you also help yourself by getting fantastic items at great prices. And this month, all clothes are 20% off. This is Connie. Be sure to check our Facebook, Instagram, or DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. Are you looking for a professional?
Like a professional cornhole player?
No, a professional realtor.
Or a professional bowler? Strike!
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
For a professional buying and selling experience, click the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Candace Summers, McLean County Museum of History, our guest on the phone for today. And Candace, a few more events to highlight here yet still this morning. Crafting History coming up. What is Crafting History and when is it?
Yeah, so Crafting History is a new series we debuted last year, which it's an interactive program that allows adult learners a hands-on history experience where we're taking crafts from the past and recreating them for use today. And we've done some really fun crafting histories since this program was debuted by our Director of Adult Education, Maria Mears. The first one we did was called Dyeing with Dinner Scraps, where we took different spices and different plant-based items to dye fabric. And we kind of learned, about that history, because it hasn't always, been, like chemicals and things that we use to do color today. Specific, vegetables and spices all put off a different color. This time around, we're actually going to be creating our own solid perfume bar, and our curator of collections is going to be talking about the history of personal fragrance and its use through items in the museum's collection. So it's going to be a really fun program where people get to learn a little bit, and they also get to make something to take home.
Very good. So put that on the calendar. And you've mentioned, Candace, been a fun program to put together. You've done a lot of fun things, exciting things in the past. What's the response usually to this?
It's been really good. We're probably averaging about 8 to 12 people per. I think when we did the one where we did pinch pots, we had like 15 people, and it's not like a huge program. You want it to kind of be of a more small, intimate program where people actually have space to work and a chance, to experience the museum's collection pieces too. So it's been a fun program and well received. And this one, Fun with Fragrance, will be Tuesday, February 20th at 6 o'clock here at the museum.
Very good. So put that on the calendar, coming up around the corner. And again, Candace, you were telling me a little bit before we got started, a program that you're, kind of excited about, one that's close to you. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, so we will be hosting the Illinois State Museum's Curator of History, Erica Holst, on Saturday, February 24th at 2 o'clock for her Growing Up Gen X program. And being a Gen Xer myself, I'm right at the tail end of Gen X, but it still counts. This will be a really fun program where, we talk about what it was like, growing up in the late 70s, the 80s and the early 90s. And her presentation is going to talk about the toys, the technology, major cultural events that impacted all of us, the music, the games, the TV. We're also encouraging people to bring their own personal artifact to have like a Gen X show and tell at the end of the program too. And it's going to be great. And it's extra special for me because I actually had my stereo system that I had growing up on display in that exhibit at the State Museum for like a year. So that was pretty awesome. That's
awesome. Cool. Good stuff. So I don't know like what your social media habits are, Candace. I jump on Instagram and I'll scroll through the reels, right? And the ones that I think it's probably popular on TikTok too, if I had to guess. I don't know if you're there or not, but anyways, like the ones that always like get me are the ones that are like the nostalgic ones. There's like that kind of like eerie, like not eerie music, but like I don't know, like kind of somber music in the background, and like there's pictures of old McDonald's and Pizza Huts and parks and playgrounds, and like those are the ones that's what this program kind of reminds me of, sounds like a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, very much on the nostalgia of, when Gen Xers were kids and teenagers, talking about, the music of the era. And oh yeah, remember the old McDonald's, and the one that gets me is the old Pizza Hut.
Yep.
Because I'm like, it's not the same Pizza Hut today. I'm just saying.
Yep.
The bucket buttons and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, or like you see like the nostalgic Christmas reels, and everything was going to kill you when you were this age. How did we survive and grow up? And it's really going to be. It's going to be a trip down memory lane, but it's also going to be a program that reminds us about some of the really, hard things that happened. I mean, the Cold War was still going on, the war on drugs, the DARE program, the AIDS crisis, all these things were going on, and somehow we kind of just hook onto the nostalgia and almost try to not think about those horrible things that were going on that very much shaped all of us too. And this program is going to dive into all that. Like, there's going to be the fun remembering, but there's also going to be talking about those formative things that happened in our lives. It's going to be a really rad program.
Speaking of nostalgia, rad program. Love it. Very good. You may have mentioned it already, Candace, the when and where on this one.
Yeah, that's going to be Saturday, February 24th at 2 o'clock. It'll be here at the museum, but we're also going to live stream it on the museum's YouTube channel. And again, Gen Xers, come to this program, bring a personal artifact from your youth so you can share it at the end of the program. I'm personally bringing my New Kids on the Block tape that I still have.
Very good. Very good. I may check it out just for a little bit, jump on and see what's going on. Definitely, for sure. Very good. Excuse me, about 2 minutes here, Candace. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else going on in the world of the McLean County Museum of History we need to know today?
We will also, as always, be celebrating Black History Month for the month of February. We will have a display hanging in our rotunda that shares images from members of the Black community throughout history. And we are doing a couple programs with the Bloomington Normal Black History Project here at the museum. One that is a reunion and reminiscing of people who lived at the Booker T. Washington home, which was a home for children who were orphaned or needed care here in the community, and also a reunion where it talks about like local musicians and the music scene here in the Black community in Bloomington Normal. And both of those programs are free. The Booker T. Washington home reunion is Saturday, February 10th at 1 o'clock. And the reunion of neighbors, friends, and musicians will be on February 17th at 1 o'clock. Both of those will be online and in person, and you can catch the online versions on the museum's YouTube channel.
And how do folks follow along with all things McLean County Museum of History, Candace?
Yeah, you go to our website, makehistory.org. You follow us on Facebook, Instagram. You can find us on all those platforms to get your fix of everything McLean County.
Candace, it's good to talk to you again. I know we've been apart for a few months, so thanks for coming back with us, and we look forward to another year of chats with you. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Candace Summers, McLean County Museum of History, my guest on the phone here for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way.